So people want to know my opinions on things, allegedly. And I just got out of Evil Dead Rise. I keep saying Rises, which is disappointing because I would have been really sweet to see Bane in it. Can you imagine, like, instead of like a possessed demon, it was Bane? Like, you read the Book of the Dead. The Evil Dead Rises. Anyway, that's a stupid joke no one's laughing at. As you know, I'm a big fan. I'm gonna roll my window up so people don't walk by and just be like, nerd. There we go. Sorry, I'm distracted. There's almost a Slipknot song. Anyway, so I'm a massive fan of the Evil Dead franchise. I talk about it all the time. It's one of the best independent horror movies ever made. My order, even though, it's fairly obvious, Evil Dead 2 is the best, Army of Darkness, and Evil Dead. But I appreciate more Evil Dead because they had such a small budget, and they had to make up new techniques to make it. If I'm not mistaken, as far as the car chases, or like a board and a camera attached to it. I think they rode some roofs. Sam Raimi has his certain trademarks, like the spinning and zooming in to the camera. There was a lot of that, which, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell allegedly produced it. You can tell. It was a lot of fun. I haven't seen the 2013 one in a while, but I remember that being like cool. I just liked it because of the amount of blood and it was a hard R. It was one of the coolest theater experiences I ever had because no one but me expected it, like expected where we were going. And before I get into it, I gotta say, this was the best theater experience I've had in a long time. It's really, I got here early. The nice lady ahead of me had some kind of rewards thing she was doing, and she ordered a small popcorn just to use the points. And she handed it to me and said, "Hey, do you want this?" So all I had to do was buy soda. And you know how ridiculous Regal prices are. I didn't have time to sneak in stuff, and I shouldn't be eating candy anyway. But that's annoying. I'm gonna get it fixed. But that's very cool. I like to believe that I hate a lot of things. I like to think naive optimism that people are like good in this world. That proves it. Just maybe you're a jerk if you're just constantly getting crapped on. Sorry, here we go. I went in to see it. I had my favorite seat, which is D9. I will fight people for it. And the crowd started gathering in, which I thought, it's Evil Dead. I want more people to watch it. And these are the kind of movies that, if it gets stupid, people get loud, and they make jokes. There's a cliche about certain types of people who ruin movies, but whenever I see that, usually, it's a shitty movie anyway. I don't know how sad it is when the highlight and the thing you're actually literally proud of is that they shut up, they had their phone off. People actually freaked out. One lady ran out screaming. That was amazing. But they were respectful. I don't understand how hard that is to be in a theater. But anyway, so that was really appreciated. Now, I'm not just going to be happy about the movie. Go on about the theater experience. It was just really rad. So, sorry, people are walking by. So, what about the movie itself? Well, the movie itself, they went for it. They really went for it. They weren't like, hey, let's do the same cabin in the woods thing. Just shove references in there. Sorry if you've never seen 2003, or 2013, but that movie was a bunch of crap. I loved it because when I saw it, it was so gory and violent that I'm a sick freak, so I get off on that kind of thing. And it was just gallons and gallons of blood. And you're like, oh, this is cool. Kind of did its own thing. I mean, Evil Dead 1 or Evil Dead 2 is just a sequel to Evil Dead anyway. Practically a remake. I love practical effects. That's part of the reason why the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness is so charming to me. Even though Army of Darkness, you can tell is phony. They were throwing fake skeletons at each other, and you could tell. But I like that because there's effort involved. I like when CGI is used the best when it's mixed with practical effects to fill in things that they can't do. There was a lot of that in this movie, there was that in this movie, but but not so much. They blended effects really well. It's also pretty cool when there are all these things you hate in movies. Jump scares. Why are you going to have a kid in it if you don't put her in any real danger? The Hunger Games, for example, that was supposed to be, oh god, they're kids and teenagers killing each other. They showed one. So, this isn't a spoiler because the kid's going to be just fine. If he gets possessed or whatever, they're going to be fine. You can't hurt children. You can't hurt children for some reason. That's too far. But basic general story is a lady, I forgot her name, comes home from her guitar tech tour, and she's hanging out with her sister who has two children. One is a DJ kind of thing, the other is just a little girl who likes to cut off heads and stuff. She made a little staff, which is a doll head on a stick. She called it Staffany. I made a joke about someone with a similar name, so that hurt a little. And they were like weird, but not beyond weird. The mom's a tattoo artist. That'll come into play in an awesome way later. The daughter is some sort of feminist, but it wasn't like shoving it in your face. It was done really respectfully. And I don't mind that kind of stuff in my movie. I just don't like it forced. And they didn't force any of it. She had like 2 lines about going to a protest. And that's great. The mom's a tattoo artist, like I said. And it reminds me of Poltergeist 3, how the hotel itself seems to be possessed. It's not just like, some random thing. And it's like Heredity, where it has a curse, even though Heredity is more scary as a concept and pretty much a boring movie. In my opinion, I'm unpopular. But, so it's the hotel is possessed, and it causes an earthquake. Now, this is where it starts to get kind of old hat. Creates a crater in the ground. Stupid kid decides he's going to go down there. And he finds, obviously, what do you think he finds? He finds the Book of the Dead and some records. Now, if you know your Evil Dead, you'd think that's kind of weird because it's a nitpick, but it was a reel-to-reel player. It wasn't a record player, whatever. The record player bothered me because it didn't have a stylus in it. How is it playing? You need a stylus in it because that's what... Light came off, damn it. It's like a Stone Gremlin review. But, so, they find the book. Of course, he reads it. But, they've turned it into like a picture book this time. Which is kind of neat. I missed that in the old movies, they would have a book, and would like write itself and draw pictures, and you could see it. That was pretty sweet, but like I said, this movie doesn't bother me at all with some of it, because if you really think about it, Evil Dead, like I said, is really, really corny and doesn't have the greatest effects anyway. So it's not like they remixed something that already was stupid, or made something like the new Nightmare on Elm Street, or old Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, so they find the Book of the Dead. Of course, like I said, he reads it. Not only that, but he has the records, which were the recordings. I believe it's the original voice or professor from the first ones. I mean, it sounded like it to me. Plays it, and the mom gets possessed. It's like The Conjuring or something, except for not crap. She gets possessed. They're trapped in the one apartment room, which I like movies that are kind of bottle. They call it a bottle episode on TV. But, so they get trapped. And there's like I said, earthquake, power out, cliche. That's getting old, but like I said, I didn't mind. I didn't mind that. The mom goes possessed. And I forgot to mention the part where it turns out main girl, who I thought was the prettiest girl ever, is pregnant, but they don't know that yet. She's just returning for a tour. There's a lot of family drama involved, but that's an important detail. So the mom gets possessed. Much like the earlier franchise movies, she goes in between being a normal person as a manipulation and then becoming a deadite. I guess you could call her that in this one too. Then it goes nuts. The mom gets possessed, and they spread the possession around from being stuck in the same apartment. But they do it in such wonderful, violent ways. I'm gross, so it's kind of my kick. I wish it could have been a little more gory and violent, but they still went for it. There's some needle or tattoo gun injuries. There was some, cutting. The blood gets into your system like it's HIV, and it turns both the daughter and the son into nightmares, as one would expect. But the way they do the violence is pretty creative. I'm not saying violence. It's not edgy. You know what I mean? Like, there's a Cradle of Filth video for From the Cradle to Enslave. I'm going all over the place. Where they have violence on, and it's like blades cutting up their arms, and you just go, that's ridiculous. It's not even fun. But eventually everyone gets possessed. And there's just, the reason I went and saw it and mostly got excited was someone gets, the trailer, which I don't usually watch, has someone getting cheese grated. I was a little bummed about that, because as excited as I was kind of sitting in my seat, like leaning in. It's just a scratch, just a flesh wound. And I go, that sucks. Eventually, things rack up, and some of my highlights are, there's a needle in a guy's eye, which is a trauma trigger for me. There's a lot of throwing up, which also Pete's not like seeing that. But it was a cast of mostly women. They all were super good, and they were super dedicated. They let themselves just get covered in blood, and they were super good actresses, especially the lead girl who played the mom. I don't have, notes, so this is pretty much just freestyling. I don't remember names. The kid was named Cass, and that bothered me because, like I said earlier, maybe I didn't, maybe it was on the first recording I tried to do. Why do you have kids in a movie if you're not going to do anything to them? Oh no, the girl's possessed. She'll be fine. The girl got stabbed. She'll be fine. I think that's not fair. If you really want to raise stakes, everyone should be subject to violence and whatever. But so, like you would know, she just fights her way through the apartment. The guy who offered his shotgun to burst down the door when they find out that the mom's possessed, they call back to that. They call back to the son being a DJ. Everything's set up and used, It's not just a, hey, they didn't mention that. What's this about? The one concern I kind of had was at the very beginning, the lead girl is taking a pregnancy test. They show it. That's pretty bold. And it turns out she's pregnant. It's kind of weird you didn't find out who the dad was. But that doesn't really matter, I suppose. And you'd think, and after a while, you're starting to think, wasn't that a thing? Didn't that happen? You know why it happened? So she could be called a slut, a C-word, and the mom tries to rip open her chest and take the baby. It's pretty exciting. That would have been cool to fulfill. I like the final creature because it reminded me of the game Splatterhouse. It looked kind of fake, but again, it's not like that's too different from formula for the franchise. I need to watch 2013 again, but the one thing I remember also that killed the movie for me was the very end. It may have been a post-credit thing, but you got this Evil Dead movie and you go, oh, that's cool. They kind of copied it, but they're doing their own thing. Nope, Bruce Campbell shows up. Why? Because people would complain if they didn't. But that's neither here nor there. I love that they didn't put them in there. That would have been so distracting. I like that they used 4 unknown ladies. Unknown kid. She's actually good. I'm gonna drain my battery doing this. There's a lot of uhs, I'm sorry. But it was a lot of fun. It's nice to see something like that in a movie theater, you know? It's part of a franchise, which is all we can apparently do, but it's nice to see something where everyone was dedicated to it. They really committed to it. They weren't shying away. I can only imagine how cold that blood must have been. And they're getting split. The lady at the end is so covered in blood. They've got an elevator full of blood. This is gonna get me on a list somewhere. But if you're gonna go all the way with a rated R, you gotta go all the way, and they really did. I feel they really did. Basically, it's an homage, but not in a forced way. The Memba Berries are just little details. The shotgun is a callback because that's a pretty big. That's the main weapon. Of course, there's a chainsaw involved, but you kind of expect these things. I felt weird being in the audience because all the callbacks and stuff I got, oh, I know they're gonna use the chainsaw. Oh, shotgun. I get it because Ash. Chainsaw. He has a chainsaw arm for a lot of it. This is just stuff that happens. The only thing that I think could have helped was I missed the part in the evil. I hated the little ashes in Ash vs. Evil Dead, even though they were super funny. I just, for some reason, have never liked them. If they would have had an evil Ash or whatever, I think that'd been cool. But that would have been too what's the word I want to use? Too much of a reference. I hate movies with references, especially when they don't make sense. Spider-Man No Way Home did this really well, where it's not corny. It is kind of because it's Spider-Man. But I think if you have a movie where a lady and her kid, this is where I almost got excited because I thought they were going to do something to the kid. Except for some blood. They had an elevator full of blood like it was The Shining. When it clearly opens up and there's just a river or a flood. I can make a gross joke about a first time of the month but I'm not gonna. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I liked watching it. I usually hate people in theaters because they talk and they scream, and if it's already a bad movie already, screaming is fine. It often makes it more funny. But I kind of loved it. I wish we could have seen the car because that's a Sam Raimi staple, but he didn't direct it, so I bet you he tried to put it in there and they probably shut him down for some stupid reason. But go see it. I'm gonna take my nephew to go see it again. It was worth. I don't support Regal theaters or anything, but it was worth giving them my money. It was my only option because the Chalet and Enumclaw was like the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which I'm gonna watch eventually. I just don't want to go see it in the theater really. So good time. I hope there's an unrated version because as gross and intense as this movie went, I can only imagine what was on the cutting room floor. Evil Dead 2 is still the best. It will always be the best. But this is pretty high up there. I guess if I had to rate it, I would give it maybe a 7.5 to 8. I think there's some things they really could have upped the ante on. But I got to see legs being blown off. I got to see knife in a hand, crazy stabbing. A lot of the cinematography was great. Like they had a lot of really clever shots. When there's a knife in one of their hands, you could see the reflection because it was like a mirror, and I thought that was really cool. They do a lot of that kind of scope. They've got the zooms, which of course they have to have. It actually would be distracting and upsetting if they didn't. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been a long time since I've seen a movie like that in a theater and just remembered how fun it could be. A lot of these things are pretty miserable and everyone takes them. It was just fun. Violence, non-woke agendas. That's a joke because I think whenever I say woke, I'm making fun of it. So, like I said, 8 out of 10, probably maybe a 9. I can't wait to go see it again. I'm going to take my 14-year-old nephew because that's what I do as an uncle. He's a fan of the franchise, and I cannot wait to watch his reaction to it. I hate reaction videos, but I love people publicly having reactions. And if he freaked out about the ending of Sleepaway Camp, there's a video of that on here too. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. I've said fun like 80 times, but I haven't walked out of a movie theater being this excited since maybe Top Gun Maverick. I liked Halloween Ends. People who complain about it are whiny, just like every other Halloween movie. But it's gonna be awesome. And you know what the greatest part is? Aquaman 2 is coming out, and it's gonna be just this terrible mess that I loved Aquaman, mostly ironically, but it's gonna be so fun. They showed a commercial for Blue Beetle, or a trailer for Blue Beetle, and that looks fun. I'm gonna watch it because Zolo is in it, and he's of course Miguel from Cobra Kai. I squealed out loud, which is embarrassing enough, because Michael Keaton showed up in the new Batman trailer, which I knew. But this time he said, "Want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And I squealed. I went, "Ah!" And it made me look like a giant dork. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that too. I wonder. I don't look up these things before I watch them because I'm gonna watch it. But I wonder if Christian Bale is gonna come back. That'd be cool. Adam West unfortunately died, and Kevin Conroy has passed. So we're not gonna get them. But I don't know. Looks fun. there's a lot of easy target jokes about Ezra Miller. There was two of them, and he said, "We're Barry, and I'm like, that's funny because your gender you prefer pronouns are they them. I haven't really talked about Evil Dead Rises as much in this review, but I really don't want to ruin it. I just basically wanted to say that I really liked it. I'm surprised I went into it without any expectations, hoping that I was, we don't need the franchise to continue. We don't need this franchise to continue. Ash vs. Evil Dead wrapped it up perfectly. I'm really glad they didn't shove Ash in there. It's a controversial opinion of mine, but I love Bruce Campbell. I love Ash Williams. I have since I was a little child, and some obvious irresponsible neighbor I had showed me it, but I would have kind of docked some points because why? One of my favorite references is there was a picture on the background of Shemp. If you don't know, that's Three Stooges are a big influence on Sam Raimi movies. So I went, the pizza box said, "Come get some." No, wait. No. Pizza box said something that was awesome. They started chanting "Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn," which I use out of context all the time. You'd think it would annoy me, but if a movie if I'm having that much fun and just totally digging it, I can overlook things that I don't like. That's one of them. Like I said, shotgun and chainsaw, obvious reference. I think someone said "swallow your soul," but like I said, don't care. It just had everything that I normally would hate, but I loved it so much. I may be overhyping it because I just got out of seeing it and I'm excited, but can't wait for a second viewing. I'm gonna buy it. I'm obviously gonna buy it. They keep putting out Evil Dead products and I just keep giving them money. But at least I'm giving money to something that isn't a billion-dollar Marvel project. No offense. I like Marvel too, but I've been rambling for it says 28 minutes, so enjoy my mostly talking about other subjects review of Evil Dead Rises. Go see it. Go pay and see it. Like, the theater makes, I'm sure it'll be cool on home video. I've got a 40-inch television, 4K, but you need to see it in the theater. And I don't highly advise to say by any means necessary giving money to the evil corporation over there, but worth it. Entirely worth it. My light's gonna go out, my battery's gonna die, so that's it. I loved it. I willingly gave it my money because I want more of this. I want more of this kind of thing. I saw a commercial for The Conjuring again, and I just didn't understand why. That's not the kind of thing I'm gonna go see. I saw one on a date, and I said, this is stupid. And the Warrens are full of crap, too. But this is something I really think you should go watch. You can wait till video, I suppose, but it's a theater. It's a theater, and I really hope you get the kind of audience I did. They were freaked out, and it was just wonderful. Hopefully I'm not overhyping it for you, but if you're on my Facebook, you already know how much that series means to me and how critical I can be of things that I really love. But, it's the best since Evil Dead 2. I love Army of Darkness, but Evil Dead 2 is just so good. Dead by Dawn, I'll swallow your soul. Go watch it. Yeah, where were you 20 minutes ago? So go watch it. I posted a review, so there's that. Watch my other stuff. It's boring art crap, but I'm not begging you to watch it. I'm not begging for subscribers or money. Just something I do for fun, and I'd like for people to maybe enjoy it. Alright, so go see Evil Dead Rise. I said Rises again. It's a good time. These aren't the kind of things you're used to seeing in movie theaters, so I was just soaking it up. Show a body go through a grinder. Yes. Yeah. Needle in the eyeball. Fly in the eyeball. It was great. I want more of that. I think that if you're gonna go R, I don't agree with the rating system. You gotta go all the way. Don't cheap away. Don't show off-screen dying. Show it. Because if I don't see it, or others don't see it, who could possibly care? This didn't hide anything. There was one off-screen kind of death, but it was kind of neat with the shadows, and it reminded me of a Universal movie. But I hope more stuff like this comes out. It's not for everyone. Like I said, I was probably the only one in there that knew. It's a Suspiria 2018 experience again. Some lady gets bent up like Suspiria. No, it's just as real and cringe and scary. It was actually, I was getting a little scared. And you know how hard that is for me. I've been rambling for about a half hour. I'm going to go get some Wendy's. Because it's right here. It's not my favorite, but anyway. If they see this, sponsor me up, Wendy's. I'll go eat your food for money. That's it. See you later.